one game. All the other teams have moved on to the second round or have been eliminated, aside from the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, who play tomorrow in a Game 7, obviously sudden death kind of style elimination match. Toronto's come back in this game. Like, in this series, it was, it seemed like Boston had it in their hands when it was 2-1, and...
Well, even, not going to lie, after the first 2 games, I didn't even know if we were going to score anymore.
Yeah, they were pretty big blowouts, and Boston definitely had control.
Yeah.
And to me, they just seem more hungry. They wanted it more than Toronto. Like, they were just all over, like, they wanted it, and Toronto was just going through the motions. To me.
Yeah, I've seen that too, yeah.
Yeah, the last couple games, they've battled back hard and shut down at the end when they had to and held on, and now it's a series.
Yeah, exactly. It almost seems like this round in particular is almost played in, best of 3 almost. Boston won the first best of 3 and Toronto won the second best of 3. Now there's
one game left, and
sudden death.
I mean, you got to be impressed with Plekanec, Marner, and Marleau. The 3 games that they have won, Marchand, Pasternak, and Bergeron have got no points.
Yeah.
And minus 12, I believe. So compared to the first 3, or the 3 games Boston has won, I think it's 24 points that line plus 20. So it just shows if you shut that line down, you can beat them.
Exactly.
And going with Plekanec because he's familiar with that line, right? He played against him for years in Montreal already, and it's worked so far, and he's been one of Toronto's better forwards in that role.
Exactly. I believe Plekanec has played 2/3 of his playoff games against the Bruins. Yeah. So I also think that Plekanec just kind of found his role on the team.
Or before he didn't really have a role.
Yeah, he's got a spot now, and he's taken it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it always helps to have a stalwart in the back end there, Fred Anderson.
Yeah,
come on, some huge saves.
Yeah, the last 3 games, he's been huge.
Yeah,
especially last night when they were up at the end, he really shut the door, and otherwise Boston. Not so much last night, but in Game 5, Boston was really putting the pressure on Toronto in the third period, and without him in there, they definitely may have tied the game and would have been in overtime, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there watching the game, it's 4-1, and it's like flashbacks, man. Not gonna lie, I thought, I was more nervous that game than I was in Game 6, just because we played tighter defense last game, but Game 5 was scary to watch, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Thought we were going to overtime.
Yep, they just kept marching forward almost, and
it was just kind of crazy how they didn't score on that 2-man advantage.
Oh, for 1:34, I believe it was. Oh man.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking, we kill it off. Like, whoever comes out on this 5-on-3 probably wins the game, and we.
Well, and that's been a big difference maker, too, from the first couple games, is Toronto's special teams have really taken over now, whereas in the first couple games...
Nowhere to be found.
No, their penalty kill was terrible.
Nor their power play.
I mean, we took 6 penalties in Game 5, and we won. I mean, got lucky, though, because that's too many penalties to take.
That many penalties.
In a row, too, right? Like, it was like penalty after penalty after penalty. Like, kind of remind me of I believe Game 1 where Kadri and we had a 5-minute and it was, what was it, 9 minutes of the third period we were killing penalties first 9 minutes.
And you don't want to get
you can't win a game that way.
No, and you don't want to give the Bruins top line that kind of power play time because they're dangerous enough 5-on-5, right?
Yeah. I mean, another big thing to throw out there is, what do you think Nazem Kadri's impact has been since he's come back from his suspension?
It's made Toronto more depth, that's for sure.
He's very important to that team. I think that the character, the grittiness that he brings is huge, especially in a playoff game.
Yeah.
But you look at a lot of Toronto's other forwards, Marner and Nylander, they don't have any sandpaper, right? No. They're more finesse. Where Kadri brings some skill, but he also brings that grit. He'll hit you. He'll hit you too, right?
And every team needs that to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Well, look at Brad Marchand. He can do everything. He can skate. He can shoot. He can.
And Kadri's been that guy for Toronto through the regular season, and he's very important come playoff time. Those guys the impact they have is magnified huge when it comes to the playoff atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Those are the guys you need in your team for sure.
Yeah, so I guess we'll find out tomorrow who Tampa Bay Lightning will be playing. But
Yeah, I mean, one big guy for the Leafs that has made a really big impact is Ron Hainsey.
does he play so much?
Yep. Big time minute eater and solid on that back end, blocking shots, and not flashy, so you don't notice him as much, but he's always there when you need him to be.
He's kind of like a Rob Scuderi, kind of a
Just
eats
solid.
lots of killing minutes and
Yep.
does what you need him to do.
Yep, plays a lot of hard minutes for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what else you guys want to talk about in this
I mean,
series, or
I know it's a big controversy, I think, at this table, but the Zach Hyman goal. I honestly, I think no goal, but
I mean, yeah, it was.
I mean, it was waved off, but
I'll admit, initially, I was like, it's a goal, right? Because when you see it live, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a goal. And never even thought, and then I thought to myself, oh, they might go upstairs with this one, and then they did, and then I was like, oh man, I don't know.
It's one of those that's really tough to make because did he interfere with him making the save? Yeah, he did 100%.
yeah,
But did Bergeron have any play in forcing him to go to the net that way?
yeah, that's true.
That's where it's a tough call, and I don't know if there's a right or a wrong.
That's true for sure.
I think Rask might have sold it a little bit too. Right after Hyman scored, he was right there.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
true.
That's true. Good
So,
point. Yeah.
Yeah, a smart goalie would play on
Well,
that.
then
to
as-
make his case right away rather than
Yeah, and that's
just-
where Cassidy too. He's saying, okay, my goalie thinks it's no goal. Maybe I will challenge this.
Yeah. Well, that's the old adage: the goalie always knows, right?
Yep.
I mean, looking at it from, say, ref cam or all that other angles, it looks like a good goal. But you look at the aerial footage, and
Yep.
then that's where you see it. It's
Yep.
it's a no goal. But I mean, moving on to the next series here, and the
But
yeah.
I guess so. I don't know who do you guys think are going to win that game 7, because that'll determine, I guess, who plays. Who Tampa Bay plays, but
And then I gotta go Toronto. They've been getting progressively better every single game.
Yeah, I agree. I think Toronto, they're in Boston's head now.
Mm-hmm.
Boston feels like they can be beat, and Toronto is hungry, and
Mm-hmm.
I
think Boston might pull it out just because they've got the home ice.
yeah.
And they know that going in that they had they were the favorites. So I guess it can be
Yeah,
argued.
yeah,
It can be
yeah.
argued.
yeah, from
That's true.
that way, you can look at it from both sides, right? Toronto's the underdog; they're hungry. They want to prove that what happened in 2013 ain't happening again. And Boston has got they're the favorite, and they've got home ice, and they're desperate to they don't want to get walked over by a team that's lesser than them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna come down to goaltending. Game 7.
yeah. I've heard that. That's what a lot of guys figure. I should say Anderson versus Rask.
Yeah.
And Rask was really good the first, and then their numbers are very similar.
Yeah.
I looked
Well, and
exact same save percentage.
like we talk about special teams too, I think if Toronto plays disciplined and doesn't fall into that taking stupid penalties, that'll be a big part of it too, right? You don't want to give Boston 6 power plays in Game 7.
No, you
That's
probably won't win. No, all it takes is them to click a few of those in, and
Yeah.
I find with this series seems like the team that scores first. Well, actually, every game except
Except for
Game
the-
6, that team has won.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Boston scored first, but Toronto answered right back right away.
Yes.
Which
Which has been
well, actually they answered back twice, but then
Yes.
time didn't count.
but that's what they've been doing the last
actually,
couple games.
yeah, that's true.
They've been having an answer for every goal that.
Yep, they come back with that's really strong shift always right after that Boston scores, so push back.
So I guess that because we don't know the result yet. So if Tampa played Boston, say,
Yeah.
who do you guys think? Kyle, who do you think would
I think that
Who do you got? Who do you got taking that series?
I think if
those two
Boston,
play ended up playing each
excuse me, if Boston plays Tampa, I think Boston's got it in. I said 5 games.
other. And the reason behind that,
I just think Boston's more of a playoff team, and unless Tampa can do similar stuff like Toronto's doing and adjust their game to beat that style, because I think Toronto and Tampa have not a similar style, but they have guys that are more, they shoot and are more finesse players, and
they play more of a skating style than
Speed. They use their speed more than their size.
Yeah, and I think Boston's a playoff built team, and I think
they're big.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
heavy. Yeah. And you got any? Do you think? So if those two played each other, game breaker, who you think would be the reasoning why? I should say Boston. You think Boston's gonna win?
That's a good question, but
I know you said I believe Marchand against Toronto in the first round when you said if.
I'm thinking, bold prediction here, but I'm going to go Bergeron.
Yeah.
I mean, his face-off ability alone
I know
is a game breaker in itself.
Well, I mean, you start with the puck more often than not. That helps, right?
Yep.
So, and he does more often than not.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know what. Like I would say, I mean, I also said Boston beat Tampa if Boston makes it on. I said in 7 games. So I think that might go a distance too. And I don't know, Boston just if they could get past Toronto, I think they could get past Tampa Bay too.
I think so too.
Just because, like, going back to what you said, similar styles. But I mean, it's hard.
I think Boston as well, but it will depend on like we've seen Toronto adapt and be able to take out that top line to get wins, and I don't know. It's yet to be seen if Tampa Bay would be able to do that. Right, there has to be some kind of adaptation to be able to shut down that top line and get some shots past Rask.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, for sure.
You have to change a little bit and adapt and find something that's going to work. And Toronto's been able to do that. You don't know if Tampa Bay will.
I mean,
so I think, yeah, I agree. Boston, probably 5 games.
Yeah, that's what I had said too.
I have Tampa Bay winning in 6.
Oh yeah.
okay, yeah.
I just think all they really got to do is shut down that first line of Boston.
Well, and we're you go ahead there.
I lost my train of thought.
Come on. Nelson, come
I
on.
was just gonna add Tim supporting what he said.
And Tampa Bay, they're rested up, so I think that'll.
Well,
with
that
Boston and Toronto
yeah.
going to 7. I mean, I think that'll play some sort
That's
of a
true, yeah.
factor.
I think Tampa's a little deeper. Like with scoring guys, they have Callahan, and they have like. I mean,
Deeper scoring wise, I'd agree. But any one of Boston's lines, they are so good
That
defensively.
4th line in Boston has been
fourth line is-
dynamite in this series with Toronto. So, but they don't have the scoring power. That's
Yeah.
true.
But like I was gonna back you up, Scott, when you said, like, gotta think how to word this, like shutting down their top line.
Yeah.
Like Tampa Bay has now seen that you can do that by watching Toronto do it.
yeah.
If they just
So if
followed
they-
what
yeah, so
Toronto
if
does,
if they can do that,
then they
if-
could. Yeah, so like I'd agree with Scott. If they can shut down that top line, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I guess if Toronto won, so now Kyle, if Toronto played Tampa Bay, I don't know what your prediction would be there.
I got Toronto taking it in 7. I think it'll go the distance again. I mean, that's the way the Leafs have always done it. But
Never
I
get
just-
breaks.
I just think they'll have to grind Tampa Bay down and hopefully can pull out a victory. I don't know. They are similar style teams, but
I think Toronto would take it in 6 or 7 as well, and that's a series to me where being similar styles with the speed and the skilled players, a player like Nazem Kadri is going to be very important in a series like that.
Yeah.
He needs to be the pest that he can be, and obviously keep it clean and whatever. But if he can get under the skin a little bit of some of those skilled guys in Tampa Bay, he'll have a huge impact if that's what happens.